Welcome to Uncle Nene's Nerdcast. I'm your host, Nathan Fletcher, but you can call me Uncle Nene. Today's episode is a super special one. We're flying high with Superman and celebrating every live action Man of Steel to ever grace the big screen. From the black and white beginnings of modern DC blockbusters, we'll cover them all. Kirk Allen, George Reeves, Christopher Reeves, Dean Cain, Brandon Routh, and Henry Cavill. And of course, we will have the new extended trailer for Superman directed by James Gunn, starring David Cornsweet. We will also have a lot of gossip and rumors about the movie. It has yet to premiere as of this taping, but we will tell you what we've heard, and then you'll get to decide after you go see it if we got it close. All right, so first, let's remember Kirk Allen, the first Superman in 1948. He was the first actor to ever play Superman in live action. He donned the cape in a 15-part black and white film serial simply titled Superman. Allen's portrayal was heroic and earnest, essentially bringing the comic book pages to life for the first time. He may not be a household name today, but he paved the way. Without him taking that first leap, we might not have the Superman we know in cinema. George Reeves is next. Superman in the 1950s. Now, he first appeared as the Man of Steel in the 1951 film Superman and the Mole Men. Then from 1952 to 1958, he starred in the huge popular television series Adventures of Superman. His portrayal was a bit different from what we saw in the comics. He had a rugged, all-American charm, broad shoulders, square jaw, and he did something novel. He made Clark Kent just as important as Superman. Instead of playing Clark as a bumbling disguise, Reeves' Clark was confident, capable, and even a bit heroic in his own right. George Reeves brought Superman to life in an era when TV was new and exciting. He made Superman a household name. I've got to say, I always loved how his Clark Kent was a no-nonsense, take-charge kind of guy, quite unlike the clumsy Clark some other versions gave us. Then we come to Christopher Reeve, the definitive Superman for many. From 1978 to 1987, Christopher Reeve was Superman. It started in 1978 with the amazing movie Superman the Movie, directed by the impeccable Richard Donner. And it was incredible. You don't get any bigger than that movie. Marlon Brando playing his father. I mean, how can you beat that? It was incredible. Through 4 films, and the first 2 are especially beloved, Reeves' Superman became a cultural touchstone. To this day, many consider him the definitive live-action Superman. He set a template for the character. Christopher Reeve made me a Superman fan for life. I was a child, and it was incredible. I mean, he convinced me a man could fly, and as a kid, I definitely tied a few towels around my neck after watching his movies trying to portray Superman. It was instrumental to my childhood. Dean Cain is the New Adventures on TV from 93 to 97. For some people, they really loved Dean Cain. His Superman was younger and perhaps more relatable for the times. He played Clark as charming, earnest, regular guy. The show broke new ground by taking the Superman story into the realm of mainstream primetime TV drama. I do remember Dean Cain's Superman. But it wasn't as fond a memory as Christopher Reeve. Brandon Routh, Superman returns in 2006. Now, this is a controversial character who played Superman. And the reason is because you have some very passionate people out there on the internet about this movie. After about 20 years absent, Superman finally returns in 2006. The film was directed by Bryan Singer, and it was conceived as a nostalgic love letter to the Christopher Reeve era. But it faced some challenges. Ruth was a newcomer at the time, and interestingly, he even looked quite like a young Christopher Reeve. in my opinion, Brandon Routh had enormous boots and tights to fill. Stepping into the role after the legendary Christopher Reeve, I remember the anticipation of Superman Returns was sky high. Personally, I found Routh's performance really heartfelt. He embodied the classic Superman decency. The movie as a whole had its flaws, but I thought Kevin Spacey was a great Lex Luthor, way better than the Lex Luthor that comes out in Batman versus Superman. Let's not talk about that. That was disgusting. But so Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor was actually really good. Then we come to Henry Cavill, the Man of Steel for a new era, 2013 to 2023. Now, I've got to say, when this came out, Zack Snyder took a lot of flack. But I will say Cavill's Superman is more grounded and conflicted, and I think that made it more realistic. Compared to the bright Boy Scout of earlier eras, his films put Superman in a grittier, more realistic world where his existence raises big questions and not everyone trusts him at first. I believe it was really a great development for Superman as a character. Cavill, he himself became very popular with a huge segment of the fans. He reprised the role multiple times: Batman v Superman, Justice League, and a cameo at Black Adam. In late 22, James Gunn and Peter Safran took over DC Studios and decided to reboot Superman and let Cavill go. I want to say that Henry Cavill's Superman came at a time when superhero films were trying to go darker and more realistic. I remember walking out of Man of Steel with my jaw on the floor from the action scenes. Cavill impressed me. He looked like he stepped right out of a comic book, and he conveyed both the loneliness and the hope of Superman. I don't wish to see a performance that is, I should say, trying to copy that. I also don't want Superman to become a corny joke. I believe there is a sweet spot in between Christopher Reeves and Henry Cavill, but I don't know that we're going to get that. So, of course, that brings us to the 2025 upcoming new Superman, James Gunn Superman with David Cornsweet. I don't know what we're going to get. Before we go, let me first play the trailer. Let's look at the extended trailer, and then when we come back, I've got a whole lot of gossip for you about the movie.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah.
You'd let me interview you as Superman.
Sure.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Recently, you've come under a lot of fire for what some
it's
might.
A lot of fire,
it's a lot. Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions. That's funny?
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman. Did you consult with the president?
No.
You seemingly acting as a representative of the United States.
I wasn't representing anybody except for me.
Around the world.
And doing good.
I would question myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die. Hey, buddy, eyes up here.
Your choices, your actions, that's what makes you who you are.
Superman. He's not a man. He's an it. somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation. I will not accept that.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you.
You have a dog?
Crypto. Home. Take me home.
Superman.
The movie is currently being referred to as Superman. It was at one point tagged Superman Legacy, and then they just changed it to just Superman, which I think is interesting. What do we know so far? Quite a bit, actually. The cast is exciting. Rachel Brosnahan is our new Lois Lane. She was from The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Nicholas Hoult is on board as Lex Luthor. That's interesting to me. I want to backtrack for a second. When Eisenberg plays Lex Luthor in the Batman versus Superman debacle, that movie was actually great without Lex Luthor. That character ruined the movie for me. He played Lex Luthor like as if he was trying to compete with the Dark Knight, playing Lex Luthor as some madman, insane guy, like he was trying to channel Heath Ledger playing the Joker. It was a disaster. The classic Lex Luthor is Gene Hackman, Kevin Spacey. This is a smart, genius criminal. That's who he is, a mastermind. He's not a wacky, insane person. So I'm hoping that we get Lex Luthor as he should be. I'm hopeful of that. We've also got some interesting characters from the wider DC universe, like Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, and even Crypto the Super Dog. They played a clip of that. I love dogs, so I am kind of a sucker for that. That was great. But it's interesting, right? So James Gunn has hinted at the tone and inspiration for Superman. He said he respects the classic Donner films, but he's doing something different, more contemporary. Gunn specifically cited the All-Star Superman comic storyline as a major influence. For those who don't know, it is a beloved comic that really captures Superman's heart optimism and a Silver Age style imagination. He's also mentioned looking at films like Top Gun Maverick for inspiration for high-flying action. We know that James Gunn is going to deliver spectacular visuals. He always does. What's clear is that Gunn wants a hopeful, bright, and optimistic Superman. I'm good with that. I just don't want him to be a freaking joke. Like, you know, he is, you wouldn't have a corny, tongue-in-cheek sense of humor if you were pretty much a god on Earth. And so I think that's going to be interesting. If you grew up the way Superman grew up, as this freakishly strong outsider, that would produce a certain kind of personality. It wouldn't produce someone that is extremely well-adjusted. Socially. So I think it'll be interesting to see. I'm not setting up the movie for failure. I'm just saying it'll be interesting to see. We look at, I think the new movie story is being kept under wraps, but from the trailer, we see Clark Kent in the Daily Planet reporter mode, Lois Lane interviewing him, scenes of Superman and heroic action. Those all look great. We catch glimpses of Lex Luthor looking menacing, and even a sequence of what appears to be the Fortress of Solitude. Comic fans may recognize the bots as in the Engineer character from DC. For DC, there's a lot riding on the movie. It's not just another installment. It's essentially chapter 1 of a new saga. They have to be successful. As the inaugural film, it is meant to set a new tone, a new direction. It is really important for co-CEOs James Gunn and Peter Safran to get this right. I got to tell you, I'm excited and a bit nervous in a good way for this one. Superman is one of my favorite heroes. He is instrumental to the entire DC universe. The heart of Superman has always been nobility, integrity. He's also been calm, cool, collected, in charge. And I hope they capture that. I hope they don't go too goofy, corny, because it's just not true to the character. There's no way any living person could grow up as Superman did, a super-powered orphan boy, as an outsider, an outcast. That's not going to produce an adult that is super charming and funny and making jokes and ziggity zag. I am very concerned from the trailers I've seen. I hope I'm wrong about that, and I hope it's a really great movie. But I don't think anybody's going to beat Henry Cavill, and I don't think anybody's going to beat Christopher Reeve. If I had to pick between the two, Christopher Reeve is a little more true to my heart, but I really, really enjoyed Henry Cavill as a more modern, gritty superhero. We will see how the new Superman stacks up. I like what James Gunn has done. The Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy is incredible. I loved it. So I am giving him the benefit of the doubt that he's going to do right by Superman, but we shall see. For everyone who's listening, I hope you enjoyed this Superman preview episode. Go watch the movie, comment in the section. Let me know what you thought about the movie. And as always, for the love of God, stay nerdy.